through the glass, right?
Right. Well, they mentioned some of these things like I will not let Grace die, and then there's shows like Saving Grace. It's all kind of symbolic to a sense. I like the special effects. That part with the Northern Lights, that looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. The, watching the trailer, there was a little bit more. It looked like a little bit more comedic than I was expecting. Not necessarily comedy, but a little bit more lighthearted than I was expecting watching the trailer. I don't know. Did you guys get that vibe?
A little bit, yeah. There's clearly some comedy side to it, but very lighthearted on it. It wasn't too heavy.
All
Yeah.
right, not you heard from the nice people. I'm gonna be mean. Now we're empathizing with aliens now. Like people barely like illegal immigrants, but now we're empathizing with the aliens now. It's a crazy. This is a crazy this is crazy programming. I feel like
Well, here's the thing. An Adam Sandler movie came out, I think in 2024. I think it was a Netflix movie called Spaceman. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, where he talks to a
No.
giant alien spider who gets on his ship, right? And this trailer for Project Hail Mary reminded me a lot of that movie, the Adam Sandler movie that came out a couple of years ago. It obviously wasn't as high energy and high action, obviously, but I'm speaking primarily of the relationship between this little Rocky guy and this Ryan Gosling as a solo astronaut. Same thing with Adam Sandler, solo astronaut out in space, giant alien spider gets on his ship and talks with him and becomes his friend, and they bond, so to speak. So there's elements of it.
for the whole tinfoil hatters out there with the whole Project Blue Beam and all of this, wasn't it like Trump did something recently where he said, he implied that there was aliens, and someone said, I think it was Obama or something, was like, he shouldn't have said that because he's disclosing something that only a president should know, or something like that. But now we're getting a movie that's like, you bring in the nostalgia of a Prince song. Love Prince, by the way, like one of my favorite artists out here. You bring in that nostalgia, I Will Die for You, and they're like both trying to save both of their races, so to speak. So like, what are we doing here? Like, are we really trying to empathize with the alien here?
Well, I think that it adds an element of, I don't know, like, look, there's law of averages out says that there's other species in out in the universe and stuff, and I mean, I guess it's just kind of a wholesome story about how there's other life out there that's being threatened by the same thing, and we can work with them. I mean, it kind of adds an element of our world and the differences with we see in each other and how we can still work together to accomplish. I'm assuming that's the kind of moral of the story.
Well, I love character development. I kind of want to see how they build this trust and this bond, because I kind of feel like if an alien were to land today in the middle, well, first of all, he probably wouldn't be able to land because there's so much like stuff that would sense him and detect him. Like they'd have like jets and all sorts of things before it even had a chance to land. But let's just say, let's suspend, our realism here and believe that it could actually land in the middle of New York City. Like the first thing that would happen is everyone would try to lock that thing up and put it like under 5 levels of security before they even try to talk to it. Like,
Yeah.
which
Yeah, but I mean,
which is prudent, which is probably what you should do. But like, I really want to see how these guys build, how him and Gosling build trust, and how they can get to a point that, okay, well, I trust you enough to talk to you and try to see if we can work together. That's going to be interesting for me.
yeah. Sorry, Max. Go ahead. I've been talking more than you. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's all right. Go ahead. I'm gonna throw something in there, but by all means, go ahead.
I was just going to rebuttal and say I don't know. I'm not so sure that they're trying to do. I think it's just a science fiction story. I think we all know that if an alien tried to land in Earth, we would not be hospitable, so to speak.
I want to throw so what I want to throw into the whole mix is a different perspective. Again, it's just my own. So I'm sure you guys seen the movie Castaway. Came out in the year was it 99 or 2000, give or take.
Tom Hanks, huh?
Yeah. So where I'm kind of throwing that into the mix is, I think there's going to be, and again, nobody's seen this movie. It's just my own take. I think there's going to be a significant period of time in this movie where basically Ryan Gosling's character is completely like he's like a space castaway, if you will, and then obviously he meets Rocky and so on. The reason why I mentioned Castaway is because it kind of has an element of Castaway in space, is what grabbed my attention. Instead of Rocky, or I should say, instead of Wilson the volleyball that has zero emotions, right? He bonds a friendship, but in this case, the friendship is actually with like some kind of alien, which is this Rocky, right? That mimics his movement and so on. So instead of having just a ball that does nothing other than just keep you from going insane, you do have something that's kind of reacting to you. So I don't know. That's just my own take. See what happens with it.
Here's what I'm looking forward to in this movie. What you mentioned Castaway, and it kind of reminded me of this. I remember watching an interview with Will Smith, and he talked about how when he did I Am Legend, right? He said he had no idea, and he gave a shout out to Tom Hanks on Castaway. He said no idea how difficult it is to act in a movie for the most part by yourself the entire time. Literally, you are acting a movie by yourself. You don't have other cast members to feed off of or anything like that, right? There's none of that. You are alone. And he said it was one of the most difficult things he'd ever done as an actor. I'm sure Tom Hanks probably feels the same way, but I never heard him say it. So, yes, Gosling has but Rocky, but it's a CG character. There's actually nothing in in the on the stage or wherever in the set with him, right? So I'm interested to see how the acting is.
Well, you
Max,
know what? There could be somebody that's moving as he's moving, and it's all green screen. But go ahead, Drew.
Max, I think that's an interesting perspective about it being Castaway, like the I'm stranded in space.
Yeah, like a space castaway. Yeah.
Yeah, and that gives me an interesting perspective too, because the stakes are so high as far as like our worlds are about to die, and you might be my only hope. So that really does have fuel to say, okay, let me try to figure out something with him, because otherwise the stakes are everyone that I know, my whole world is gone. So maybe that maybe that gives him the incentive to be like, okay, let me not kill you. Let's really work together here, because you're probably
Maybe
my
I
only
won't
option.
kill you, holy.
Right.
And on that, I mean, you talked about hope. I mean, and again, the reference to it's grace. I'm thinking saving grace. Hope. I mean, all these names are used for a specific reason, right? Like
sure.
they don't just put that in there for no reason at all. So I do like the visual effects. I do like the idea. It's a little bit of a different story. I actually do miss the whole idea of kind of like, I should say this is ET at all, right? But if you guys remember, I mean, who doesn't remember ET? To me, that's still one of the greatest extraterrestrial movies, no pun intended, of all time, right? I kind of like the friendly element of introducing a nice friendly character and so on. I mean, it's been so cliche and overused for the longest time of, oh, aliens, instantly they're going to kill us all. It's all war and so on. So I like this creative element of what they're doing in this film. and we only just got a small taste of it. I mean, which is great. I feel as though that too many films kind of sell the whole farm of what to expect in the film, and they give it away in the trailers. And I want to legitimately be surprised. So I'm looking
Well,
forward to this.
something that they left to the imagination and left out of the trailer that I'm looking forward to, like you were just saying, is that, I mean, we see this woman. He's obviously in a boardroom, and we hear this woman saying, you have to go do this. Um, what I want to know is, why are they sending one man into space by himself? Why couldn't he go with a crew of people and stuff like that? They leave that stuff out of it, and that's good, because now it's got me wondering, why is he in space by himself? Why couldn't he have a crew with him? And you know what I mean? Did he have a crew with him? Did they all die in some sort of accident? I don't know, right? So it lends to the imagination in that aspect, like you were just saying. So, but I will be honest with you. Overall, it doesn't look good to me as a movie. It doesn't look good to me as a movie. It, like, nothing that I would be like, on my own, if I wasn't reviewing it, I probably wouldn't be like, oh, I want to go see that one. Like, I'd probably let it go to my streaming service, Netflix or whatever first, and I might give it a chance then. But um, it's not my cup of tea. But I love sci-fi movies, which is weird. So
I'm right there with you, Rob. I would not go see this on my own. Like, I like sci-fi, but this is not it for me. But I am very intrigued in the way that they set up the trailer. I think they did a good job, because recently, like, I believe, like, they set up trailers for TikTok people, for people that just, they're like, all I got
yeah,
is 30 seconds, and that's all I'm gonna give to you. Maybe 15 if you're lucky, but this one actually kind of let the storyline go through it and pulled on your heartstrings a lot. They picked the Prince music. They did a really good job. I am kind of intrigued to see, okay, where does this go? How do they solve it? How do they figure it out? And does Ryan actually make it in the end?
yeah,
I'm intrigued.
I'm going into it with an open mind for sure. If it's a good movie at the end of it all, I mean, it'll get a good review from me, right? Um,
But think about what you guys just said. We have 2 out of the 3 guys here who, well, maybe, and I'm a little bit intrigued, but for the mass audiences, is that going to equate to big numbers at the box office? I'm kind of leaning towards no. Even though I'm the 1 out of 3, I'm like, I kind of look forward to seeing this. If this is what the masses, the way they're looking at it, again, if that's the case, I think honestly it's not going to do well at the box office. I think it's going to end up being a film where you're going to see maybe the positive reviews and whatnot, but the budget poorly done at the box office, and then maybe it rebounds because the higher reviews and so on. So it's going to be kind of either level or it doesn't hit the budget.
I'm
Just
not
my own
even
personal.
sure what a successful movie looks like or what it grosses anymore nowadays, because we have, like, social media, and kids are so, on the TikTok, on the Snapchat, like, they're more engrossed in that than they are, like, movies and movie stars. So I don't even know. Like, I know this would appeal to, like, the Gen X's and the late millennials, like the people who grew up with like a sci-fi type thing, like a Star Trek, Stargate, all of that. But does this appeal to the Gen Z? I don't know.
I think it might actually do okay at the box office, and hear me out on this. I think they strategically released this movie uh, the date that they did, because there's nothing like it that came out in March, and there's not much that comes out in April that looks that good, in my opinion. I mean, Michael comes out. I don't know how well it'll do. I personally love those kind of movies, but sometimes those bomb, right? Sometimes those movies do terrible. Like that Elvis movie did awful, but they made it kind of a musical. I'll give them, maybe that's why, but
Yeah, I didn't see the biopic of Elvis. It's funny you mentioned that. I don't want to deviate too much, but the actual documentary on Elvis that just came out got phenomenal reviews across the board. Like we're
yeah, but that's
talking
not
like
that's apples and oranges, though. That's not like a movie being released in the theaters, right?
It was also released in the theaters.
And
Anyway,
Elvis, the
yeah,
one you're talking.
Elvis documentary, yes.
I know the Elvis
Well,
movie did, but
Right, but there was also Elvis documentary, and it did phenomenal.
oh, there you go.
well, I think it's interesting because Trump did have the whole thing in the news about the aliens. So maybe people might be intrigued to go because of that. I'm wondering how they're gonna do the marketing as far as like hitting people on TikTok and hitting people with in the social media area. Like, will they do something like that? And then people actually want to go see it. Like again, I'm not sure how you market to Gen Z today.
Well, like I said, you've got I don't know why it's telling me I put May in, and anyway, there's nothing over the next like over March and April that really would kind of compete with it in the box office. And I think that they did that on purpose. Well, I mean, obviously they did it on purpose, right? They got it out before Star Wars. They got it out before Mortal Kombat 2, right? That stuff comes out in like May, I think. So Toy Story 5, I don't know if that really competes, but
Well,
yeah.
another thing I think is weird, and I don't know if this has happened in the past or if this is just a weird coincidence. The fact that Trump was starting to talk about aliens, and then you have this movie. And last time Trump was talking about Greenland, then you had the Gerard Butler Greenland movie. So I don't know if that's like a just a coincidence type of thing, or if that's something that's a little planned. I don't know.
I think it's more of a coincidence, personally. I mean, I get where you're coming from. I just look at it from the perspective of when these were filmed. It's not like these were filmed, literally like last month or whatever, right?
For
Like
sure.
usually these are filmed like
All of
sometimes up
last
to
year.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. They usually take about it. They usually are filmed like the year before, and then they got to go through all of their editing and screening and all that kind of stuff.
But is it great timing? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's right before. I mean, you've got a lot of big movies coming out this summer, so it is before a lot of big movies start to come out. A lot of anticipated movies, like I said, Star Wars, Mortal Kombat 2, Spider-Man. You've got Avengers: Doomsday later this year. There's a lot of big blockbuster movies coming out this year, so to get it out now, I think is their best. If they put it out in July or something when Spider-Man came out, they'd be toast, cooked, right?
There you go. Gen Z talk.
Yeah,
Cooked. All
cooked.
right.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, again, to sum it up, for me personally, I'm not that super jacked to see it. The trailer didn't really do anything for me, so I look forward to being wrong.
Well, fair enough. I think that's going to wrap it up for all of us. And we'll see you guys in the next trailer review. But we are going to see the actual movie, and we're going to give you guys an actual review from us three in the panel. So stay tuned for that. It'll probably be around this time next week. So look forward to that. We'll see you
Yep.
guys in the next video.
Peace.